that Glossier is one of my favorite brands that I discovered this year. So when I heard that they were coming out with a new foundation, the day it launched, I ran to Glossier in the heat and I picked it up. So this is available online at Sephora. At least when I looked, it was online only. But you can also pick it up at the Glossier store if you're near one of the major cities that it's in. That's how I got my hands on it. But it should eventually come in store to Sephora so that you can get your shade match if you need that. I would say it's a pretty good price for a Sephora brand at $34. And I was super interested in it because Glossier has a skin tint that, to be quite frank, I didn't like it. I use the words tinted water to describe it, so I'm excited to get this on my face. It sounds a lot more up my alley, especially since they describe it as medium coverage with a natural finish. Those two words very close to my heart. That's my preference. It's also hydrating, cruelty-free, and long wearing, we'll see. And they describe it as a hydrating gel cream foundation that nourishes skin for buildable light to medium coverage with a natural to you finish. Everything about it just sounded fantastic. And then of course Glossier is all about the skin, so they really are thoughtful about the ingredients that they put in, if you're an ingredient buff, that is. The foundation has a 12-month shelf life, and I'm sure it's made in the USA of global materials. And I ended up picking up the shade Light 2, which honestly is quite the perfect shade match for me. So this is what the box looks like. It's very in line with how Glossier does their packaging. And then it's in a quite luxury bottle, I would say. It's a glass bottle. It has some weight to it. Ignore how dirty it is. I was playing with this earlier this morning. But I think the packaging is so cute. There are 32 shades in the range, and when I was in store, I thought that the shade range looked pretty good. So for reference, I do have a normal to dry skin type. Right now, it's more on the normal side. I prep my skin with a nice hydrating moisturizer and a little bit of my Supergoop sunscreen. I am not going to use the Glossier Future Dew, which is what I normally use for primer if I'm going Glossier, but I think this is a bit heavy for me wanting to test the foundation, so we're gonna go all natural today. Okay, so here we go. So this is how much a pump gives out, and you can see it's not liquidy, but I want to note on the details, it says it's a gel cream foundation. It does feel like liquid, but it's definitely a thick liquid. So I'm going to use my finger to blend this into the skin. I didn't buy the brush that it came with. I don't need another brush in my collection. But you can see as I'm pushing it in with my finger, the product is almost soaking in like a lotion, and not in a bad way, but I definitely see where they say it goes from gel to cream, because it does feel like cream as I start to rub it in. I really liked using this hourglass brush for the foundation to push it in. I did apply this earlier this morning for a TikTok review, but we're doing the wear test now. But I have already decided I much prefer to apply this by spreading it out with my finger, kind of letting that rub into the skin, and then using my brush to push it in. And I only used a little bit of that full pump, and I would say this right here is a light coverage. However, they do say it's buildable, so we're gonna go in with a second layer. But can you see how beautiful this finish is? I'm very much enjoying the complexion products that have launched recently at Sephora. This looks super skin-like. It is definitely, in my opinion, something that I prefer over the skin tint. I did not like that skin tint. I really like this, and I've been needing something like this of Glossier so that I can do a full face and actually like the way that my makeup looks, because if your foundation is bad and you don't like the way the foundation looks, there's a high chance you're just not gonna feel like you're having a good makeup day. So I'm excited about this. I think it looks really pretty on the skin, and it does have a buildable to medium coverage. I don't think you can get any more than that. I'm going to stop here because I don't want too thick of a layer on my skin. We'll just put this here for now. But here we are with one half of my face done. Ignore this little area here. Definitely a medium coverage, but still looks quite skin-like. I would say definitely a natural finish, but I can tell even in the parts that it might be like a little bit dry, it's because as the day goes on and my oils come through, I feel like that's just going to make it look even more skin-like. I think it looks gorgeous. Okay, and I still have the other half pump for the other side of my face. Okay, so I'm just putting this all over my face, and then thumbnail picture Jose. And then again, using my hourglass brush to blend it out. And I am going to go in with a damp sponge after this. You'll see it's not necessary, but I always feel like no matter what, going over your face afterwards with a damp sponge is going to add some nice hydration back to the skin. The foundation gives you a really big pump, so if you don't like too much foundation on your face, give yourself a half pump. Okay, and then finally to set in the makeup, because I do feel like it is looking a little bit dry here, I'm just going to take a damp sponge and press right over that. And here is how the skin is looking. I think it looks really nice. I will say that it is like a touch, like the littlest bit dry looking, but I really do feel like the second, like give it an hour and my oils are going to start to come through and it's going to look so much more natural and pretty and almost be perfect. Because sometimes if you start off with a foundation that's too glowy, you can look a hot mess at the end of the day, because wear time is such a huge factor. And it does say it's long wearing, and I really do feel like it's going to head into that direction just by the feel. But I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup. We're going to do a lot of Glossier today. I put out a bunch, so let's go. So something I forgot to add, the Glossier Stretch Concealer, I was confused because it said new online, but I asked the associate in store and she said this is the same formula, but they've added new colors and then they've also renamed them all to go with the foundation. So it seems like they're making this foundation the main part of the complexion line and kind of forgetting about the skin tint, because the concealers used to match up with the skin tint colors, but now they're going to match up with the foundation colors. So for reference, the old shade I used was G10. I don't know, I guess I would use light 2 for this, I guess. I don't know, anyways.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway and cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right?
Here is the final look. I'll have everything that I'm wearing down below. I'm trying a new color of the Glossier G Suit in Strike. How strikingly gorgeous is it? A nice red orange. And then I also am trying a new monochromes in the shade Prairie, which is kind of greenish, but still really neutral. It's quite pretty. So here is how everything is looking once we have all of the makeup. Pretty much a full face of Glossier. I would say my only critique is it does look like a tad dry with all of the powders that I added. It doesn't look super duper smooth, but I feel like that's almost a good thing for the wear time. I still think it looks quite nice and quite natural. I'm going to show you guys in front of the window how we're looking, and we're going to wear this. It is about noon, so I will catch you guys in about 4 hours. So here we are on my iPhone camera in front of complete natural sunlight. I feel like nothing is more unforgiving than the iPhone camera. And it looks really, really nice, honestly, on this camera. So I'm very, very happy with that. See you guys in 4 hours. Hopping on to refresh my lip and then show you what is happening. And honestly, We are 4 hours in and I think my skin looks great. You can see we have a little bit of smile lines happening, but nothing crazy. Other than that, I would say my makeup looks literally the same halfway through. Now, I haven't done any strenuous activity. I've just been with my head down in my computer. So I think these last 4 hours, I'm gonna put it to a test. I'm gonna walk on my treadmill, sit outside on my balcony and read where it's very, very humid as well. And then so after that, it will have been 8 hours, and then we'll see how everything's really looking. But yeah, the only thing I can see is slight oil collecting here, but nothing offensive at all. And then this, which it happens, but the forehead looks smooth and fantastic. The foundation itself, I'd even argue, is holding up better than the concealer. I'm really liking how this foundation looks. I think it's a great addition to the Glossier line. It's exactly what they needed. So I will catch you guys in the next few hours, but not much to update on. So it has been 9 hours, and all things considered, it's going pretty well, and I was out in the humidity for a bit. I definitely have some oil starting to build up a lot around here, and my face doesn't look smooth at all. Like, you can definitely see my pores and stuff. Everything has settled not very nicely, but it's been a long time. So one of the claims online was that this was long wearing, and honestly, I do think that this has a decent wear time. It lasted really nice for me, and I feel like it's faded okay. I wouldn't go as far as to say like, oh, this faded so well. It didn't, but it looks okay. All things considered, I'm not mad, especially for the natural finish that this has, because it didn't leave me looking flat or matte at any point today. So I would say, just based on this first impression, and do keep in mind this is a first impressions, I definitely need to test this with a lot of other products and a lot of other situations, but if I had to go off of today's review, fantastic for dry skin, decent for oily skin, but I would say if you have oily skin, you want to prep properly. So definitely put on your favorite long-wearing primer, long-wearing setting spray, powder, and I think you'll be just fine with this foundation. So I think it is great for a lot of different skin types. Mature skin, the debate is still out on that. I do want to test it more, but on first impressions, I think it's pretty good for you too. So as always, when it comes to my first impressions, I will not leave you hanging here. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because this will be featured in an upcoming speed reviews after I have tested this multiple times in different ways with different products. But first impressions, I am thoroughly enjoying this. This is exactly what the Glossier line needed, in my opinion, because this skin tint was not doing it for me. I would always grab for a different foundation from another brand, even if I was doing a majority Glossier face. And now I feel like I will grab for this. I legitimately like it. I'm happy. It gives coverage, but it still gives that fresh, clean, somewhat dewy Glossier look for those girls and guys who weren't born with it, who don't have it. I'm one of those. Your girl wants some coverage. So I'm really, really happy with this. I mean, these complexion products that have launched recently, oh, so good. I am loving it. I just remember last year I hated all the complexion that launched, and I feel like they got a grip and stopped producing really thick and heavy complexion products. And this year, so this is included in a new favorite product. But I'm going to continue to test it more anyways. I'm jibber-jabbering now at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and found it helpful. As always, if you've tried this, let me know your skin type and how it wore for you. I would love to hear that so that we can share our opinions with others. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.